But before we talk about the power of belief, I want to take you back 38 years ago, before I knew the power of belief, the power of hope, the power of having a dream. I was 15 years old and facing what I thought was an insurmountable challenge. I had spent a bunch of money that I shouldn't have spent. They were going to take that money from someone else who wasn't responsible. It was a family, it was a father with a couple children, 3 kids actually. And he would be responsible for my mistake. And I didn't want that to happen. And I thought the world was very unfair because I had been poor my whole life. To that point, my mother was raising 3 children by herself. She was knocking on doors as an Avon lady, selling cosmetics to raise her kids. So we had always been poor, and I hated being poor. You know, it's funny, I see people on television sometimes, and they're interviewing famous people, and they say, "Oh, we were poor, but we never knew it." And I always watch those things, and I say, really? Because I knew that I was poor, and I hated being poor. So I thought the world was very unfair, that there were other people that had money and I didn't have money and my family didn't have money. So things started to culminate. The pressure began to build. The money was due. It was going to be a Friday. I needed to have this money to protect this guy who didn't have it. So I got a knife that was about this long, and I went into a Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurant, and I held them up and stole all the money from their cash register. I was 15 years old. Think about that. So I got away, escaped, and then I thought about other places and paid this money that I needed to pay. But I didn't have any left. And I didn't think that was fair. Again, because there were other people. There were these rich people who had so much money. And I didn't have it. And I didn't think that was right. So I started burglarizing businesses to steal money from them. And other businesses. And other businesses. And then it culminated one night, 3:30 in the morning, when I went into a convenience store it was an all-night 7-Eleven kind of convenience store, and I robbed them. So I ran back, and I had a car hidden behind the business a couple blocks away. And I got in the car, and I put everything in the trunk, the money, and I had the ski mask and the jacket I'd been wearing. I put all that in the trunk, and I waited on the floor of the car. I thought, I'll wait 15 minutes. The police will go to that store, they'll get the report, and then they'll drive away. That was my plan. And then because I had to drive right by that store on the way back to go where I lived. So I'm sitting on the floor of this car, and my heart, imagine, if think back to when you were 15 years old, if you had done something like this, how fast your heart must be pumping. So I think I've waited 15 minutes, but I probably waited a minute. but I'm so excited, probably my sense of time is so off. So I get in the car and I drive back, and I drive right by the convenience store that I have just held up. And there's no police there. So I think, great, the plan worked. They've already been there, and now they've left and gone away. So I drive, and just as I'm coming to a corner, there's a police car coming the other way. And I try to look very casual as I drive by him, and he goes by the other way. And obviously, I didn't look casual enough, because he immediately turned around and, had the siren and the lights going to pull me over. So he asked for my driver's license. Well, that was the problem, because I didn't have a driver's license. Because you have to be 16 years old to get a driver's license. I was only 15. I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot it at home." He said, "Okay, could I see the registration for the car?" Well, that was kind of a problem, because, of course, it wasn't my car. And the person who owned the car didn't know that I had their car. So he says, "Can I see in the trunk?" And I'm a smart guy. I've watched lots of TV, so I say, "Well, do you have a search warrant?" So of course he knows that I'm the guy. So he gets me out of the car, handcuffs me, arrests me, takes me down. And then of course they search the car, and they find the money and all of the ski mask and all of this stuff. So I'm sitting in jail at 3:30 in the morning. And it was a cell, and I'm all by myself, and there's a big metal door, and there was a little square window with the glass that has the wire in it so it doesn't break. And I remember sitting in that jail cell looking out at that. There was a clock in the hallway on the other side of that window. And I just sat there watching that clock, minute after minute, hour after hour. And then day after day. And that's where you understand what it's like to have no belief. Because to have belief, you need belief in a better future. You have to have a vision of something more, doing more, having more, but most importantly, becoming more. And when you have no belief, you have no hope. And when you have no hope, it's a dark, dark hour. So I sat in that jail cell day after day after day. And then one day there was some keys jangling, and the door opened. And a man I didn't know walked in to visit me in this jail cell. His name was Baxter Richardson. He was a school teacher, and he was the parent of a girl that I had gone to school with, my best friend's girlfriend. He was her father. He came in to see me in that jail cell, and he told me, "Randy, you don't belong here. You're capable of great things." Well, I thought this guy was crazy. I thought, he doesn't know who he's talking to. Does he understand this is me? I was a teenage alcoholic. I was a teenage drug addict. I had made so many poor choices in my life. I couldn't understand why this guy was so confused to think I was capable of great things. But he believed that. He believed in me. Told me, "No, I talked to my daughter about you. I talked to your friends about you. I got all of your records from school. Sometimes you skip school for 15 days in a row, and then you go and show up the next day and take a test, and you score at the college level, advanced college level for reading comprehension. You're a smart guy. You're capable of great things. You don't belong in this jail cell. Well, I so desperately wanted to believe him that I believed him. I honestly borrowed his belief in me because I didn't have that belief in myself. But I borrowed his belief in me. And that's really what I want to talk to you about today. The power of belief. What that can mean for you.